Good morning. This is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning, literally, at least from where I am. And hello, kids. But good evening to all of you who happen to be watching from beautiful British Columbia. Welcome to True North Eager Beaver Nights, our BC elections results special. I am your host, the Eager Beaver pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaveray. And not with me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. But with me for the very first time, I'm very, very excited about this, is, well, I guess I could say one of the probably most original kits out of all the bunch. His name is Adam MacGillivray, and I am going to be working with him for the very first time on this. I'm glad he said yes. He's a BC resident, and he's a good-natured guy. We've had lots of conversations and lots of good exchanges over the old Twitter. But yes, this is the first time that we're actually I think it's the first time we're talking voice to voice, if I'm not mistaken. But he'll be able to clear me up on that. But it's definitely the first time we're working together, and I've been looking forward to having him on the show. He brings some experience from having worked on some campaigns, but right now he's a very, 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 very happy family man. um, Today it's interesting that we're doing this because of course we are here in the uh, alleged center of the universe. It's 10 past midnight, but in British Columbia the polls closed not too long ago, and we've had a very interesting election campaign. So I am going to bring in our guest, and we'll chat a little bit about the elections and then see what's going on. Thank you for your patience, by the way, kids and cubs, in waiting for the show. Um, had a couple of curveballs thrown my way without getting into too much, and then a couple of audio issues, but I think we've resolved them. So, kids and cubs, put your paws up and give a big round of applause for oh, hold on. Oh darn, I should have brought him on camera for that. For our friend Adam MacGillivray. Welcome to
Here
the Beaver Lodge.
we go.
Oh my god. Yeah, you have to be original to know that bit. Oh my god. Hi, how are you?
I am tired. It's been a long day, but love to be here. And hello to all the kids and cubs.
Ah.
Follow. all the comments, everyone. Saucy Seawitch, thank you for the follow. And I can't wait to hear how you did in your election. That was awesome to see that you were running. Uh, yeah, it's awesome to be here and joining in with everyone for the first time. I've dipped in and out of the different YouTube chats and that for a while. Just timing, family life of in and out when I can just grab a earpiece and listen for a while and try to get involved with everyone.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's a little trickier to be involved in the live chat when because we don't actually expect people to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch us live.
Usually it's about 5:45. So
Okay.
I would be getting up as you guys are sometimes finishing on the longer shows.
Yes, exactly. Now, you know a little something about running, don't you?
Yeah, I ran for city council in the city of Surrey that I live in. Came in top half, but there was a lot of candidates, so that doesn't say too much, I guess. But about 8,000 votes in my first time running. Then the federal NDP asked me to run uh, federal, yeah. But decided on a different candidate that year, and I've helped out on a number of provincial NDP uh, campaigns over the past couple of years in the riding that I'm in out in South Surrey.
All right. So you're a very good person to have on the show. And as you mentioned, of course, while there are provincial elections going on in British Columbia, there are municipal elections going on in Nova Scotia. And so there's some results over there. And yes, we are waiting for the results for Kit Saucy's election to be made public so that we know whether or not we have a, a Kit doing democracy in an actual seat somewhere. That
Which
would
would
be
be phenomenal.
that would be something kind of cool. I'd have to say. 'Cause I would be a proud. Well, listen. Let's put it this way: I'm a proud Beaver Papa, no matter what, because the running is the thing. But
Well, I heard someone once tell me that democracy is something you do.
wonder who that would be. Sounds familiar. Has a nice ring to it. Oh man. Okay. So those of you who are following this live, results have already started to come in. They came in started coming in very quickly, actually. I thought for sure there'd be at least a half hour in between, but uh,
No, we were about 50 minutes in, and 75% of all polls reported.
yeah. So it started off with a few conservative seats, and then as uh, more numbers started to come in, now this is uh, not elected yet, but leading at the moment. And then we got to about 37 conservative seats to 28 NDP to 1 Green. And then as the evening keeps going on, we see 45 NDP, 45 conservative, and then 3 Green, which is interesting. And then again throughout the night, 45, 45, 3. And then 48 conservative, 43 NDP, 2 Green, and then 47 NDP, 44 conservative, 2 Green. So it's swinging a bit.
It's swinging a bit, but the Greens are definitely holding a position of power.
Yes,
You,
yes.
the
This
last
is
time in BC that it was a similar situation, the Greens, they had, I think, 3 or 4 seats under Andrew Weaver, and they essentially had a supply and confidence agreement with the NDP and held the power in the province despite having only a couple seats.
hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Right, because I think it was 3 seats at that time.
Yeah, and so it's not
Yeah,
something that is new to us, but
and it
I
worked pretty well for about like 2.5 to 3 years, didn't it?
it did. I'm not really happy with how things went after that, um, on
Yeah.
multiple different levels. And I don't know how well it's going to go this time, as apparently I saw that unfortunately, Sonia, first to know the leader of the BC Greens, who is phenomenal. She switched ridings into
Hmm.
Victoria from where she had won consistently, and it looks like she's not winning tonight.
Oh,
And yeah, that's a loss for the entire province.
wow. That would, because she performed exceptionally well.
Yeah, but she did move from the riding that she had been in for a while into a safer NDP riding that was closer to Victoria, the capital, I guess, and that seems to have cost her.
Oh my, okay. So if she's actually speaking right now, um, so I'm not sure, unfortunately, what it is that she's saying here, but she is speaking right now, addressing people that have been gathered at, I'm guessing, at party headquarters here. And right now, currently, it stands at 46 Conservative, 45 NDP, and 2 Green, with 47 seats needed for a majority in what I believe is a 93-seat legislature.
Yeah, we've expanded over the last couple of years. They've changed a bunch with the massive amount of new uh, people from around the country and immigrants coming to BC that we've had an addition of a few ridings. So it's kind of shaken up a lot of the existing ones in metropolitan areas, as well as adding some throughout the province.
All right. I'm seeing here on the screen something a little interesting that uh, for the Green Party, it seems that their vote share currently, as it stands, is 8.3%, which is a change downward of 6.7%, which would lead one to indicate that perhaps the level of polarization uh, made some votes defect from the Greens at this point to make sure that Rustad was stopped.
Yeah, that's probably where it went and why with Sonia Firstone moving to a new riding might have cost a lot of the change. Unfortunately, the Greens didn't have candidates in as many ridings as the other ones.
Yes,
As
that's
far as
true.
the Conservative, the temporarily there for the BC United, um, as well as the NDP, it really kind of shook everything up. And the NDP had a big push at the end of the campaign of don't split, keep the Conservatives out, vote NDP. And that may have worked to a degree for them. Whether there was ridings that the NDP were behind the Greens and that ended up benefiting the Conservatives, we'll have to see at the end of the night.
Right. That because the unlike nationwide, the Greens are a bigger force in British Columbia. I think they were running up to 10% in the polls or something, which is a sizable amount. If a certain amount of that could actually could make the difference in a close race.
Yeah,
From looking
it's
at
really
the
tough.
Yeah, it becomes
Yeah,
tough
you're
on a third
saying
party there. I was trying to look at some of the polls before the election to see how they were running here, but I'm seeing 10% overall in the aggregate, at least with a 338, with a range of up to about 12, and at the peak during the campaign, 14. So somewhat underperforming. So there must have. It does seem like there was a last minute swing there.
it a little bit of a swing, but not if you look at the previous elections and the actual performances throughout that. That the way that BC is set up is the mass majority, much like Ontario, is in metropolitan areas, and that's a small part of the province. On the fringe of the metropolitan areas, you've got on one side a lot of conservative people that are out in the farms and everything. Along the coast, you have a lot of Green supporters that have always been there. And why Sonny first know Adam, he's been amazing. Not me, different Adam. Can't remember his last name right now. For the North Shore, he's been a phenomenal representative. They've had amazing representatives and amazing support in polls along the coast, and they've really been our left leaning party out in BC, where
Right.
the NDP is kind of the center. The former BC Liberals were center right, and now the Conservatives have moved further from that to the right. But where each riding kind of votes has always been very consistent throughout our province.
Okay.
The rural farm areas have been much more conservative. The tighter knit, well, not tighter knit, but tight population groupings of Surrey, Vancouver, Burnaby have been very NDP. And then you move into the coastal regions that are somewhere between suburban and rural, have been very much Green supporters.
Okay.
And you can probably look back through a number of elections and see the same party lines across that vote spread the entire time. And when you've lost Sonia from her safe riding to a riding of, she was running in Victoria, the capital of the province, which is much more dense and tends to lean more NDP and has voted that way for the past couple of elections. It was a very hard fight for her to win that seat.
Yeah, I could understand that. And I mean, in one way, for trying in that part, um, like in the capital itself, it, it shows confidence that the Green Party thought it could, because for the leader to run, I mean, I'm sure that she did think that she had a chance in some way, um, because that's, I mean, like I said, she got 33% of the vote.
Yeah, and with switching ridings, her existing riding that she had won was being shuffled, and the boundaries of that were changed before this was coming up as an election. So, not necessarily that her existing seat was safe, and she challenged a very progressive seat and challenged them to be more progressive.
Okay.
But if you look at the approval ratings throughout the province, she actually led both David Eby and Rustad by a massive amount of people that approve of a party leader.
Okay. So she was running. Am I pronouncing this right? Cowichan Valley.
Cowichan.
Cowichan Valley.
Yeah.
Last time around, and picked up 44% of the vote to Rob Douglas from the New Democrats, who picked up 40 in that election. And then before that, similar as well in 2019, she got 37. So she actually increased her vote from election to election between 2017 and 2020 by close to 7%. Defeated the New Democrat Lori Lynn Yanindaro at that point. Oh, that's disheartening.
And then that riding was sort of shifted, and
Right.
part of those votes were no longer in her riding, and so she made the decision to run to lead in Victoria, so she ran for Victoria, and that's a
Yeah.
aggressive move.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said she's at 33%,
Yeah.
which is still 2 elections ago, she was at 37 in a safe riding.
Right. So yeah, I'm wondering if that's I'm see from the kits here that she delivered a concession speech. I'm not sure if she announced she was stepping down or not, um, because I mean, given the approval ratings and everything, this could be something like wait for the next by-election and then try again and remain as leader of the party. I don't think that she necessarily has to go.
I think I hope actually she stays. She's an amazing party leader, and she's an amazing voice for people in British Columbia. So I really hope that she stays as leader of the Greens and seeks a seat in the next by-election.
Yeah, yeah. I think that there would be a case for that in this case, especially holding balance of power.
And I really, really hope that the by-election is in my riding, because apparently the Conservatives have won in my riding, and
Mm,
that's Brent Campbell.
okay.
He's been in the news for the past few weeks with all his
Oh
racist.
no,
Yeah, that's my writing.
that one,
Yes.
the guy that called like the tiny.
Palestinian
Oh
children,
no.
and told supporters of Biden if he lost and Trump won, or Hillary and her supporters, how they should direct a gun or things like that. Yeah. And
Oh
his
my
wife is
God.
the federal conservative MP.
Carrie Lynn
Yeah.
Finley. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his wife. And
Oh my God.
but
What?
there is an upside. Over the past 4 elections, including by-elections, the NDP in the same riding has increased their vote share by about 5% per election.
Okay.
And that pretty much coincides with the amount of density that is being built in this area. This used to be a lot of single family homes, a lot
Right.
of farmland that's moving to townhouses, some condos. Everything's getting to be a lot more people, which always leads to more people realizing, hey, I should vote to support everyone else that's really close around me.
Right.
And so while it really sucks today, I'm really hoping to see that the NDP share is around 40%, maybe pushing into 45.
Okay. I'll check that out for you here, but I'm seeing your writing Surrey South. Brent Chapman, 58.87%. How? How?
And the fact that 47% of the riding is visible minority.
Oh my word. And that's with and that's with 6 out of 6 advanced voting ballot boxes reporting and 12 out of 13 final voting day ballot boxes reporting. That's a good thing on the Elections BC sites. Actually, is they tell you the advanced voting ballots and
I
the
believe
final
that's
voting.
new. I believe that's new because the last
Yeah.
couple of elections, I've been a scrutineer for uh, some by-elections and that, and you're sitting there with all the advanced ones counting and making sure signatures are right, and it's a very boring day.
How boring
But
is it? But yes,
it's part of democracy,
right.
and
I wor- I had a
that's what
chance to
you
work a
do.
poll once, and it was. I have to say, it is indeed a long day, but I absolutely loved it, and I recommend that everybody do it at least once somehow.
Well, I mean, I was just doing scrutineer for counting ballots afterwards.
Right.
My partner and her family, for the last couple generations, they have all been poll volunteers working the polls. They were in Delta, but they've done that for, I would say, the last 40 years.
Okay. Okay. Um, uh, those who will be listening later can't see it right now, but you are getting some comments, good sir, about the tie, and
The tie.
that's not just any tie.
This is a TransLink tie from the TransLink store. Uh, I am a massive supporter of transit and decided I had to wear this on tonight. I've got the socks. I am on the bus daily. Help people find the proper routes to get the bus, the SkyTrain, everything. And so definitely tonight, which I mean, local transit was on the ballot. So it's at my heart, it's on my chest. I love my transit. And I mean, I wish we had more trains, even like the GO train.
Right.
We've barely got any via rail out here. It
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
Yep. Yep. I'm with you on that one. I'm a big fan of transit, mostly because they won't let me have a license because apparently I'm a menace. Who knew? Beavers can't drive. Apparently I can 3-point turn and parallel park like nobody's business, which apparently everybody tells me is the tough part, but the actual driving. It's like, oh, hide your children. So yes, I've grown to love public transit very, 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 very much. So yeah, I'm right with you on that type of stuff. Better public
Uh,
transit. We
I,
don't
I
value it
fell in
enough.
love with trains 20 years ago when I was in Europe.
Oh
Sitting
yes.
up, sitting on, well, figuring out the metro in Paris and going, it takes 15 minutes to figure out everything and you're where you want to go.
Yep.
And then taking trains across Spain from Valencia to Madrid and watching sunsets from the steps of a train. And then coming home and going, um,
Yeah.
where is it?
We would like some nice things too, please. No, I hear you. I'm looking at the results coming in, and vote share is indeed uh, 8.26% for the Greens, so 160,203 votes. This is according to the Elections BC website. 44.57% for the BC NDP, 864,333 votes, and 43.48% for the Conservative Party. That's 843,196 votes, with the BC NDP currently holding 46 seats, the Conservative Party 45, and with 47 needed for majority, that still leaves the BC Green with the two in the balance of power position.
Yeah.
And given from what I see here, the vote counting has been relatively quick, because I'm looking at all of them here, and most of them, all the advanced voting ballot boxes are all totally reported, or one short of being reported, and a lot of the final voting day ballot boxes are as well. But to go through some results for people who are listening here, in Abbotsford Mission, it seems that Rian Gasper of the Conservative Party took that one with about 50, just under 56% of the vote. In Abbotsford South, this would also be a Conservative Party seat for Bruce Banman with 62% of the vote. In Abbotsford West, Corky Newfield of the Conservative Party there, again with 58% of the vote, and there was an independent candidate there, James Davison. The NDP candidate was Graham Hutchison there. In Boundary Simil, oh my God, I might be losing some fans in BC tonight. In Boundary Similkameen?
Simalclean.
Simalkameen. Okay.
Yeah.
Simalkameen.
A lot of that's one of the coastal ones, we have a lot of indigenous ridings that where the right emphasis on the right syllable
Syllable.
comes into play.
Yeah.
Semakhling is
Yes. As a francophone, I make that mistake often, especially when I say economist. There's- in I have trouble sometimes with there's a few words in English that I keep on pronouncing in the French way, and I listen to the shows after when I'm writing the show notes, and it's like, oh, Douglas. That the other day I think was ama, uh, amagalus. No, I can't remember it now.
immaculous, like an immagulous form.
Yes, Maga. I completely mispronounced it. I don't. I think I might have done it again. Right.
It was very close. Immagulous. Thing of immagulous is
Magulus. So yeah, every now and then I listen to it. It's, oh, there's the French. There's the French in me cupping out right there.
yeah. I mean, geographically, when you start looking at those, so Abbotsford is
Right.
east of Metro Vancouver. That's all farmland. It's a more rural area, sort of Aldergrove, Abbotsford, Chilliwack, and then you hit Hope, which goes into the coastal mountains. So from the coast, you go from the cities into those. So that's all our farmland. Uh, Personally, I think it's a shame how they vote when 3 years ago we had way more severe atmospheric rivers than we are dealing with today.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that land flooded.
Mm.
And the current NDP party is the ones that got them out of there, helped them with everything, and they voted them out or
Mm.
not supported them.
Yeah, and
It's
this one
one of
was
those things.
closer. Yeah, it was closer. It was 49-42 there, with the BC Greens getting just under 6 and the Independent getting. So they're. I mean, if you consider voting for two different candidates, the vote split there did make the difference.
Yeah, and that would probably be why David Eby and the NDP were asking people if there's some close ridings, vote for NDP. Unfortunately, they didn't say if there's close ridings the other way, vote for Greens.
Right,
If you want to do an ABC, anyone but conservative,
right.
you have to make sure you are supporting the other team that you're trying to draw the votes from as well in the ridings that you're not going to poll right.
Yep, yep. That makes sense. You absolutely have to do that. The other when you mentioned since you mentioned atmospheric river, um, there was a couple of areas where it was probably felt very good about yourself if you voted in advance today.
I mean, today,
Yee.
yeah, there's a lot of areas. Thankfully, Elections BC put out a notice that you were allowed to vote in any polling station in the province
Okay.
because of the inclement weather. It did not matter if you were in your own riding, if you brought your ID and your voter card, they would ensure that your vote was applied to the riding that you were voting in, but they wanted everyone to be able to vote safe and to get out and vote.
Yeah. From what here I got from City News here, this is last updated a few hours ago, but it says the North Shore has become overwhelmed with rain and floodwater as an atmospheric river continues across coastal BC. Videos posted to social media show Deep Cove and other parts of North Vancouver with flooded streets, homes, and businesses. And the pictures are something else here.
Oh,
District
the
of North
videos
Vancouver.
are amazing.
Yes. District of North Vancouver Mayor Mike Little tells 11:30 News Radio that crews worked in advance to clear storm drains, but the amount of rainfall expected exceeded predictions. Quote, there's no question low-lying areas closest to creeks, have been struggling to keep up, said Little. Some roads closed, Little said, while the district managed floodwater in Deep Cove. He says construction equipment was required to clear North Vancouver catch basin after woody debris caused it to overflow. Quote, and so as soon as we are able to get the backhoe in position to clean that out, we obviously saw the performance improve, but there's no question a number of businesses were affected by that at the time, said Little. He says parents near Cove Cliff Elementary reported that the school had also become inundated with water, though the school district hasn't confirmed the extent of the damage. 11:30 News Radio's Mike Lloyd was on location in Deep Cove Saturday evening, reporting torrents of water, rapids down the main streets, debris, and even bike share and e-bikes flowing past. Lloyd said an emergency reception center was set up at the Mickey McDougall Community Recreation Center in North Vancouver for anyone displaced by the storm. In an update around 7 p.m., Lloyd reported that the reception center was set to be demobilized and closed by 11 p.m., fortunately due to a lack of need. He says hotel rooms are available if required. In West Vancouver, police say McDonald and Mar creeks continue to, quote, run high and fast. Low-lying areas along Bellevue Avenue and Marine Drive are reportedly experiencing pooling water. The West Vancouver Police Department is asking residents to avoid flooded areas to allow crews to work. Gordon Howard of West Vancouver Fire and Rescue says his crews are seeing serious flooding in many areas and are working to dam and redirect water to minimize damage. Quote, given the volume of water, it was very challenging to redirect all the water, so certainly some homes have had significant water damage and businesses as well, said Howard. He says no injuries related to the flooding have been reported yet, but the floodwater is, quote, extremely hazardous. Quote, pay attention to any direction of crews. If we've got barricades or line crossing an area, it's for public safety. Please obey the instruction on the sign and stay out of those areas. Environment and Climate Change Canada says the weather event is expected to break several rainfall records. Several parts of the lower mainland are seeing flooding and deep water flowing through the streets. Environment and Climate Change Canada says the heaviest rain is expected to taper off between 8 and 10 p.m. tonight, this evening. So probably as of a few minutes ago, if you're out in BC. However, the downpour is expected to continue overnight and through Sunday. And yeah, there's reports of homes flooded in North Vancouver. And wow.
Well, to give you an idea, I mean, the North Shore, so North Van, West Van, even along the hills to Maple Ridge, Port Coquitlam, that they saw 20 centimeters of rain today. Not millimeters, 20 centimeters, 200 millimeters of rain.
That's a lot. Oh my word.
When you can start putting rain into the same measurement as snow.
Yeah. That's concerning.
And I actually saw Tofino. Everyone across the country is familiar with where that is.
Right.
After our prime ministers visited there and had some friends chase them along.
Yes, just drop in.
Yeah.
Unannounced.
They saw 300 millimeters from yesterday to today. A foot
Oh my.
of rain. That's 12 inches of rain.
Holy crap.
In 30 hours was 300 millimeters of rain.
Yeah, nothing's equipped to handle that.
No, and this was less than we saw 3 years ago. But the best description I saw was a fire hose from Hawaii to us.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to describe it.
It's the Pineapple Express, but
wow, man, I can't even relate. My Beaver sweetie can, because when he was studying in Japan for about 3 months, there was a typhoon that hit. So I've never experienced that. Apparently, it's quite something. So yeah. So atmospheric river is not quite a typhoon, but my word.
Well, we had 80 or 90 kilometer an hour winds with all that rain that came down. So it's just, and being a river, it's not twisting or anything. It's just coming at you in waves.
Okay. So that was a good move then from Elections BC to allow that. I was glad that they were nimble enough to be able to to come up with that, and that there wasn't any opposition?
Well, the system that we have, essentially, you come in. It took me 2 minutes today. I walked in. Here is my registration card. Here's my ID. They gave me a little blackout thing with my ballot on it. Here's a Sharpie. Go over to one of those. You can scratch it out completely or just put an X. Did that. I walk over. I handed it to the volunteer there.
Mhm.
Without looking at it, they put it in the machine that scanned it, and you can see that it registered one more vote.
Okay.
And so they're able to take the information from each one of those machines that has registered a vote. That ballot is filled out properly. There's no errors. Here's the information. It's counted already.
Okay.
It kind of
Okay.
keeps a tally. So at the end of polling, they can just go, here's all the votes. And the machine has a tally with the paper inside it. So when
Okay.
if there's a question, let's take them out and sit here and count every single vote if we need to.
Right.
And that's how they're able to do it so fast.
Okay. That's good. I did not know that. That's good to know. I'm gonna take a little step from BC to Nova Scotia because Kit Saucy has
Do
announced
we have
the
some?
information. We have some information. Kit Saucy says, "I unfortunately did not get a seat this time around. 84 votes out of 239, so roughly 37%. Not bad for my first time around."
Hey, first time around, I was the same idea. I'm in the 40 percentile. The fact that you stepped up, Saucy, awesome. And I hope you do it again. It's been tough for me to get out there and do it again, but it's a trip, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You know what? Look, since I have you here, like, what was your experience like? Well, first of all, Saucy, I read the same comments. Um, I'm so proud of you for getting in there, putting your body in the game, running, putting your name out there. Especially since I know, that's a step for you to go out to to try to take a do something public. I know that you like your alone time like this. So but getting out of your comfort zone and running for it, and as Kid Cassie here says, you were eloquent, intelligent, and down to earth in your speech at the candidate meet and greet, and you know, I think that when you run and you can get 37%, I would not be surprised if someone is calling on you to take something on. So do run again.
And like what happened with me, you'll probably hear someone from a provincial or federal say, "Hey, you did a really good job. Would you consider stepping up to another level and running again?"
Yeah, that could happen too. It could happen too. So, yeah, uh, all of us here at the Beaver Lodge are very proud of you. Very, very well done. And yeah, uh, you know, 37 for first time is actually pretty excellent. It's pretty phenomenal. So you did great. I'm so excited. Other things that happened. It seems that former Liberal MP Andy Fillmore won the mayor race in Halifax. Mike Savage had been the mayor, I believe, for about 12 years, and the reason that the seat became vacant is because Mike Savage has been appointed as the province's lieutenant governor. So Andy Fillmore came up. I think he is running against someone whose last name was Mason, I think. And but Fillmore did take the seat there. There's a town, I think Annapolis Valley, it's called, who I believe has elected an all-female council somewhere along the way. And in the town of Shelburne, they've elected their first ever black mayor. And Shelburne is a county in Nova Scotia where there were some original settlements of Black people in Nova Scotia. And as we know, there was the whole Africville thing, and that happened. So, but they have elected their first Black mayor, and he's very, very, very excited because there's a lot of projects that he's been working on that he now gets to take to another level. So, and there are a whole bunch of other results in Nova Scotia, but it seems that they said that there should be about 14 new mayors. So a lot of turnover. Either there's people that weren't running again. For sure, there was going to be a new mayor, and then with a couple of acclamations. So they were looking at around 14 minimum. So a lot of change in Nova Scotia. So thank you for doing your democracy over there as well. Now, you were talking a little earlier when you were talking about more rural regions. Um, what do you think? How would I put it? It seems to me that if I'm looking at the federal level, and I'm sure it's similar in other places, that the party that does well in the urban areas typically just don't seem to have a program for the rural parts of the province or the rural parts of the nation. Like I can't federally, if I'm thinking it, I can think of like liberals doing very well in all urban areas, and I haven't seen necessarily a concerted rural strategy or effort to outreach, or it's like they've just ceded the territory, or they're not competing. What makes it? I, I understand that there might be demographics and other type of stuff, but beyond that, what makes it such that there's just the inability to appeal or to come up with something that could appeal to those regions?
It. I don't think it's a political thing.
Okay.
Because if you look at Alberta, how many Albertans rage about they get no support for oil and gas, but only liberal parties have built pipelines to Tidewater for them? That gets ignored.
Mm,
So it's, I think it actually comes down to a psychological thing of you end up not interacting with as many people in day-to-day life. Your politics, and this is my own personal opinion. I'm I'm gonna be like,
right.
I'm not telling that this is um I see that people tend to lead towards a me vote as opposed to a we vote when you're in a
Okay.
much more dense environment. So I'm on a farm, there's 1,000 acres between me and the next person. I just care about what's happening on that 1,000 acres because it takes so long to get there. Whereas for myself, I walk out my front door, within 30 feet, I have 12 families.
Right.
I get a snowfall, I go, oh, there's newborns over there, there's a divorcee over here, there's a widow over there. I'm going to shovel out as I'm doing my own. It's not much effort to help everyone else.
Right.
But when you're on your own away from everyone else, your effort to help everyone else is that much greater. And you're not expecting them to put that effort to help you. So it becomes a big me when you're out on your own versus a we when you're really forced to do that. And that shows up at election time.
Okay.
Whether people believe, you might have NDP supporters, but go, well, what are they doing for me? If a policy is for a whole bunch of people, they're not seeing them. They're not
Right.
seeing that return from their neighbors. And I think personally that it comes down to that psychological effect of, are you seeing the people that your vote helps?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Never thought of it that way. That's some interesting insight. Huh. Yeah. That's some stuff to pot. No, it's true. I've never heard that expressed either. on mainstream TV in that way. It's like if you don't see who your vote is helping. Yeah, I think that's one of those things when you do it when we talk about those of us who say, but we're going to have a national food program and we're going to have national daycare and we have as well. If I have no
But
kids
I
in
don't have
school,
kids.
right,
But
right,
at the same time, I look at it, I'm in an area, I go, well, I was in school. I would have liked to have that lunch. But I also have a son who, yes, we can afford to send him to school with lunch, but there's kids in his school where there is programs to help them because they can't afford it.
right,
So no, I don't want any kid to go because I see it. I see my own personal experience and his friends and being part of the pack when he was a couple of years ago. I was the district pack rep as well, helping get those programs going at a discrete level so that the kids didn't feel
right,
they needed to rely on everyone else.
right,
So it was a silent community support. Don't worry about it. We're here for you.
right, right, right. I see that. Oh, but yeah, it's still. It seems to me that there should still be some type of effort to like reach out and have because it is true that the needs are different in an urban area than in a rural area, and when your neighbors are far away than when your neighbors are with you. You need different things, and I'm just surprised that there isn't like, yes, we have this part in our platform, but we recognize that you have needs, and we have this suite of things, so, and going out and selling it. Right? I just it, it just seems that the rural urban divide is just so entrenched now that some parties just seem to have saying, like this, what's the point in even making an offer?
Well, if you look at the past few federal elections, what has the Conservative Party offered any rural community?
Mm,
They just take the votes for granted. They don't have to
right,
offer anything.
right,
And yet, any progressive outreach is met with disdain,
right.
despite how many times it happens. And so that's where you look at now we're dealing with the psychological side of it of why do you refuse someone constantly reaching out versus someone that doesn't actually do anything for you?
Mm, mm, that is, yeah. Hmm, interesting. I appreciate the insight. Thank you for that. Um, I do have a little bit on Sonia First to know here. Says that she lost to Grace Lord, the Minister of Children and Family Development in the previous ruling NDP government. She's quoted as saying, "It's such an honor to be an MLA. It's not the outcome that we'd hoped for in Victoria Beacon Hill tonight, but I'm so proud of the campaign that we ran. We knew we were up against a steep hill. We were trying to support something bold and new, but the challenge was a little more than we could do. I'm so heartened by the support that we got. I'm so heartened." She was first elected in 2017, as we mentioned a little earlier, and she did play a key role in helping the New Democrats form government with the confidence and supply agreement back then. So I guess, yeah, she was part of that then
Yeah,
too.
when
So she brings that experience.
Andrew Weaver was a leader, she was still one of the MLAs, and then as he stepped down, she stepped up, and that's where, as she said, she switched to a sitting minister's riding,
Right, right.
which is a very, very
That's
hard seat to overtake.
absolutely. First to know released the party's 2024 election platform recently, which included lofty promises like taxing the rich, ensuring everyone in this province can afford a home by either owning or renting by 2035. Can afford a home, sorry, by either owning or renting by 2035, and there was an obvious focus on the environment. Quote, we knocked on I think this should be read 14,000 doors because there's a zero missing here. We knocked on 14,000 doors. We attended every debate. We put it forward. I was very excited about a vision centered on the well being of people, on nature, and our public institutions. But hey, this is where we're at. This is a passing of the torch, and I'm going to be there to mentor and guide in any way that I can. So I'm guessing that the article doesn't explicitly say that she's stepping down, but I don't know what she means by passing of the torch in this particular case here.
Well, probably as a voice in the legislation
Ah,
that
yes.
she needs to pass that torch over to hopefully one of the other multiple one or two MLAs that get elected for the Green Party, and let them kind of lead the Greens at the legislative level.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's a good conclusion there. In Bulky Valley, Stikine, we have the Conservative Party there, Sharon L. Hartwell, winning, defeating Nathan Cullen. Wow. Of the BC-NDP, 51 to 39, just under 40%. That's wow. Nathan
Yeah.
Cullen. Okay.
It-
And I seriously, he's like one of the nicest guys on the planet. Proven constituency MP when he was at the federal government. Like, you're hard pressed to do better than Nathan Cullen.
I know it's still, the Similkameen Valley is a very rural area. Uh, you're still getting into that. You've got some of the urban areas around there, but I think this whole election comes down to something I had told a friend at the last election when, uh, through COVID and that, the BC-NDP got a large or majority. They haven't used any political capital. They've lost it all. They did not use that majority to get the progressive programs that they could have to allow people to experience them in time before the next election. And unfortunately, I think that's what cost votes throughout the whole thing is, if you're progressive and you don't do anything for too long, people are going to say, why vote for you then?
Right. Yep. You got to deliver. At some point, you weren't elected to just sit there and, take up space. You're elected to deliver for your constituency.
Yeah.
You have to have some results.
Even Ravi Collin, who's the housing minister, who over the past year and a half has been doing an amazing job. I really hope his seat is safe. It should be, according to the polling I've seen, but it's only been a year and a half that they've really been implementing new housing policies while being in power for 4 years.
Right. So they waited
You,
a little too long to get started.
yeah, and nobody gets to see. I mean, the federal liberals have kind of done the same thing.
Right.
They had so much time to implement programs that people could really benefit from, and then have opposition parties go, I'm going to take that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
The longer a person has a program like that,
Right.
the harder it is for them to go, I want to vote for the guy that wants to take it away from me.
Right. You have to have time to like register and try it for a while and see if you like it and see how it changes your life. And then, so yeah, when you have that type of stuff, I mean, like I understand you got to do proper consultation, all that kind of stuff, but you got to get those off the ground pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's what I found a lot of Canadians' progressive parties are lacking in, unfortunately,
Hmm.
is a Conservative Party goes, we're implementing this right off the bat. Day
Right.
one, they do that. And progressive parties go, okay, a year before the election or at the election, we promise we're going to get this over the line. What did you do for the past 3 years?
Right. Right.
We really need to start showing that we can implement those programs fast and let people benefit from it. And then anyone that's running against you has to run on the premise that they're going to take programs away.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Indeed. See Elaine here saying that if you're listening to Global, Global is showing the NDP 46, Conservative 5, Green Party 2 presently. That's the same thing on CBC, and I'm getting the sense that unless there's some type of surprise, that is the way it's going to end. Because again, I'm checking out the BC election site, and there are very, very, very few ballot boxes that have not reported yet. If I'm
I know
looking
our
at
mutual friend David Moskrop was joking about an hour ago saying, "Hey BC, I hope you like recounts."
yes,
Because a lot of these apparently were looking. I haven't looked at my TV, and because I'm using my phone, I'm not on Twitter. I refuse to
okay,
call it anything else.
yes, same here.
So I haven't seen anything in the past hour of how things are progressing.
Right. We have Burnaby Center here. Just two candidates in this one. The BC NDP, Ankang defeated Dharam Kajal of the Conservative Party, 57 to 43. About. I'm reporting it like it's a sports score when there's just two candidates. In
Well,
Burnaby,
Burnaby's a very big NDP riding. I mean, Jagmeet Singh is Burnaby,
right?
and you've also uh, oh, I'm blanking on his name. Phenomenal federal MP.
Talib Nur Mohammed.
No,
Oh,
Julian.
oh, Peter Julian.
Yes, he's
Yes,
also a Burnaby uh,
excellent.
MP. So they're putting out some great progressive MPs there.
All right, perfect. We have Burnaby East. That was Rhea Aurora of the BC NDP, taking that one 51.5% to just under 41 for Simon Chandler of the Conservatives. And the Greens picked up just under 8% in that one. Burnaby New Westminster, Raj Chauhan?
Chohan.
Chauhan of the BC NDP won that one with almost 60% of the vote over
Well,
Deepak Suri.
he's been the House Speaker as
Okay.
well. So he's
Good name recognition.
yeah.
Okay. And no green candidate in this one, but an independent candidate, Danielle Kofi Ampong, who picked up over 5% of the vote. It's not bad for an independent candidate.
Well, a lot of independents you have to remember might have been
BC
BC
United.
United that were abandoned when Kevin Falcon capitulated to Rustad and just left everyone that wasn't jumping ship already out floating around on their own.
Mm-hmm. In Burnaby North, we have Janet Routledge from the BC NDP that took that one with about 53%
So
over
she was
Michael
the
Wu.
Minister of Education, I believe.
Okay. Over Michael Wu of the Conservatives with 43, and Martin Kendall, another independent candidate, got just under 4. In Burnaby South Metrotown, we actually have 5 candidates there. One has actually nothing written in the box for party affiliation whatsoever. I've never seen that before.
I'm not sure. I know that every once in a while we get Communist Party running here. One of my
Okay.
favorite parts when they do is if you look at their advertising budget, it
Yeah.
is $0. They run a campaign completely. They've never spent a single penny in probably 10, 15 years on advertising.
Okay.
And you know what? I give them props for that. They stay true to it.
Paul Choi of the BC NDP won there. This was a closer race, 49-42 over Han Lee of the Conservative Party. The Green candidate picked up 6 there. And Caribou Chocotin. Oh, that's where. Is that where the sort of that everything sort of dammed up? And then
Bolton, so it's kind of southeast BC.
okay, there was a place I remember reporting back to the kids about there was a place where there was like an 11-kilometer river that had formed
Yes.
after a landslide, and then
Uh,
then it gave away a bit.
yeah, that was the area when you said damned. I was saying political. Yeah,
Yes.
and that flowed into the Fraser and didn't cause any major issues afterwards.
Okay.
Kind of became an afterthought after it cleared itself.
Okay. Well, glad that didn't do too much damage because I know people were really concerned about the salmon run as well.
Well, we've got. I haven't seen anything out here about damage to the salmon run. I know, well, other than today, that there was some streams that were overflowing and salmon were running down the street. The whole Florida
Wow.
alligators in the street. No, BC actually had spawning rivers overflowing and people walking up and touching salmon that were out of the creek into the main street.
Oh my. Okay. You got a lot of water then. And Caribou Chicotin, Lauren Dorkson of the Conservative Party picked that one up 70% of the vote. Only 2 candidates in that riding over Michael Moses. In Chilliwack, Cultus Lake, this was again Conservative Party, Alia Warbus over Kelly Padden, also just 2 candidates, 55-45. Chilliwack North, Heather Maas of the Conservative Party took that one with 55% of the vote over Dan Coulter of the NDP. The Green candidate got 5 there. In Columbia River Revelstoke, we have Scott McInnes of the Conservative Party. That was a close race over Andrea Dunlop of the NDP, 48% to 44%, with the Green candidate picking up about just under 8 there. So their vote splits could have affected the riding there. What else do we have? This was Revelstoke. There we go. Coquitlam Burke Mountain, 2 candidates race there. The BC NDP's Jody Wickens won that one. That was very close. 270 votes. And there's still one final voting day ballot box to report there, so that one's not done yet. So yeah, it leads by 270 votes there, 50.65% to 49.35. So
That'd be another one of those. Get the scrutineers out and recount.
Yeah, indeed. According to Kit Linda here, it says there are quite a few close races. Any race under 100 votes difference is an automatic recount, and recounts can be requested for 200 or 300 vote difference, maybe more too. All right. Let's see what else do we have.
Maybe more depending on the percentage difference.
Right. Here we have a Coquitlam Maillard. See, this is where the French is in me now, because it's written Maillardville. That's how I would pronounce it in French, but it's probably not that in English.
We generally just say Murrayville.
Murrayville. Okay. See, I would have got it wrong either because I was in Millardville.
Millardville, yeah.
Was it
Mallardville or Millardville, yeah.
Okay. Coquitlam Millardville. There we have the BC NDP's. The BC NDP's Jennifer Blatherwick with about just under 52% of the vote over the Conservative Party's Hamed Najafi. And there also we had a Green candidate with 6% and an independent candidate with just over 2%. And Courtney Comox, we have, this one is close as well. Brendan Day of the Conservative Party with 39.3% and Ronnalee Leonard from the BC NDP with 38.36%, with one final day voting ballot box left to report there. And that difference is just over 200 votes. So that's another close one. In Cowichan Valley, I remembered.
Yeah, I was just there 2 weeks ago for my sister's wedding reception.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, how delightful. How was it?
it was a wonderful. They got married in August, but they did a reception at Cowichan River. Just they booked a campsite. They got themselves a massive glamping tent, like a 10-foot tall, 15-foot across round tent, and had tacos brought in, like build your own taco,
Right.
and just get the families all together, bunch of games, couple campfires, pinata for the kids, and it was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, she's 11 years younger than I am, so happy to see her happy with her new husband and getting to meet all his family too. So,
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, our best. Please give our best. We kind of love here at the Beaver Lodge. So that's
all
wonderful.
love.
I know. I'm a hopeless romantic. uh, so yeah, going down. This is a Cowichan Valley, and they're the NDP. Deborah Toporowski took 40% of the vote over John Curry of the Conservative Party, who got just under 38% there. There, the BC Green Party got close to 20% of the vote in
Yeah,
this
being over
district.
on the island in those areas. Um, I mean, the BC Greens had, I would say, one of for platforms, one of the best representing Indigenous communities, and Cowichan is a uh, area with a lot of Indigenous people. There's the tribes there that I wouldn't be surprised seeing a lot of areas like that leaning heavily towards the Green parties.
It's true. I was watching Steve Boots, who we very much love and respect, had a BC special, and he really went through the BC Green platform specifically. He thought that it was impressive enough that it actually deserved its own segment to talk about how good it was, especially considering that the BC Conservatives didn't actually present one. Uh,
Well, like 2, 3 days ago, they put something out, right?
yeah, like I said, not fully. The party of good economy and fiscal management did not release a costed platform.
But the calculations were it was the worst costed platform, actually running in around 11 billion as a increase versus I think 5 or 7. So it was drastically more expensive for what they did release, even though they didn't put out numbers. Being able to calculate, well, things cost this much, they were drastically worse on spending than any other party.
Jeez. How is this even close? ah,
We've got 50 years of trickle down economics that don't work.
man. So, maybe this is the one that you were talking about. Delta North. Ravi Kalan?
Yes.
Yes. BCNDP took that one with 52.5% of the vote over the Conservatives, who got just over 40. Green candidate picked up 6 there. In Delta South, Ian, just 2 candidates in this one. Ian
Ian
Patten of the
Patten.
Conservative
Yeah.
Party, yeah, picked up 55% over Jason McCormick with 45.
I think it's his third or fourth win. He's a solid guy.
Okay.
I've chatted with him multiple times. I mean, obviously he switched over to conservatives because rats on a ship. Just
Hmm.
moving to where something's floating. Not to call Ian a rat. I don't mean that.
No, no.
But moving to a party where he saw that he wasn't running as an independent anymore.
It is
Uh,
way easier to run under the party.
yeah.
Yeah. But this is
But
a conservative, like when people say like they're all terrible, this was one that would not
yeah,
be.
100%. I know, especially around the Metro Vancouver area, the people that are running Conservative that were under the BC Liberals slash BC United, uh, there's a number of them that are more progressive Conservative, less modern Conservative, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So like Ian Patton, he is that whole riding is very rural farmland. It's out on the Delta. He's looking after farmers. He is fighting for them, and it's not a bad thing that he's back in office.
Okay. Good. Good to know. Now, am I pronouncing it Esquimalt Colwood?
Esquimalt, yeah,
Okay.
close enough. It's
Okay. I'm trying to remember because, like, again,
another island one.
the francophone in me wants to go Esquimalt, so this is Esquimalt.
Well, think with West Coast Indigenous, do the opposite of the francophone.
Okay. Esquimalt Colwood. There we have Darlene Rochford of the BC NDP taking this one rather handily, 51% over John Wilson, who got 29.5%. There, the BC Greens picked up about 20 there as well. Fraser Nicola with one Nicola. See that again, my French. Fraser Nicola. We have Tony Luck of the Conservative Party with just under 55% over Francine Joe of the BC NDP with about 36. The Greens took 9% there. Wanda Fuka Malahat or Malahat? Malahat.
And Wanda Fuka.
See, this is where I'm having fun with this. Wanda Fuka Malahat. We have, this one is very, very, very close. There's still one final voting day ballot box to report, but the spread here is 26 votes. 26 votes. Yes. So Dana La Jeunesse of the BC NDP has 38.54%, 8,933 votes. And Marina Shapozhnikov of the Conservative Party has 38.43%, or 8,907.
And how many Green?
Green, 23%. David Evans of the Green Party, 5,337.
That's your deciding factor there.
Yeah. Wow. That one can slide. Okay, so this thing that we're seeing on our screen of
I would probably
NDP
put
46,
that one,
Conservative 47. Yeah.
The Wanda Fuka Malahat, I would say will probably end up very close, but going NDP.
Okay.
Because as you see from the amount of Green and NDP votes together,
Right.
the majority of those are going to be a progressive going to that side of the political spectrum.
Okay. So, but right now, still,
It
is possible that that 46, 45 could flip, because that's the 26 votes is not a lot.
No. And if enough Greens pull it out, then that really, I mean, that's tighter than is comfortable on a third date.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. You can stay. Oh my. Okay. In Kamloops, so moving on to Kamloops Center, we have Peter Milabar of the Conservative Party with 49% over the BC NDP's Kamal Grewal with just under 41%. The BC Greens picked up 10% there with Randy Sunderman. And Kamloops North Thompson, we have Ward Stammer of the Conservatives handily taking this one with 60% of the vote. In Kelowna Centre, another close one, Christina Lowen of the Conservative Party has 43.1% of the vote, and Loyal Wooldridge of the BC NDP has 42.5% of the vote. So there again, we're looking at about 150 something vote difference.
Yeah, the Kelowna one would be interesting because one of the conservative promises was a new bridge over, or a second bridge over the lake. Because the two sides of Kelowna, right now, there's one floating bridge that goes over. And I mean, anytime you want to be political and get votes, build more lanes of traffic. And it's an easy thing to promise and start work on that gets you votes.
Okay.
But really, if you add another lane of traffic, it's like adding another loop on your belt
Okay.
and saying you're losing weight.
Gotcha. In Kamloops North Thompson, we have the Conservative Party's Ward Stamer, ahead of the BC's Maddie Genn. So that's a pretty decisive victory there. Tristan Cavers of the BC Greens picked up 7% there. Kelowna Lake County Coldstream. This one has the Conservative Party also taking it with 54% of the vote rather handily. And there was an independent candidate there, Kevin Kraft, who took a 6.5. Kelowna Mission, again, there's a candidate with nothing under the party affiliation there. So I guess you don't have to have one. You can run unaffiliated.
I well, I guess independent or unaffiliated.
Because then
It seems
the independents are actually marked independent. Like this one has nothing in the box.
generally. So I'm not sure. I haven't tried it myself. Maybe in 4 years I will, you know, get some together. I'm gonna run as a beaver or something and see if we get a beaver party.
I
We'll do
swear
that
if
federally.
someday, I swear if someday like, I swear if someday somebody starts the Canadian Beaver Party, I swear, it's gonna be like, I did not intend for this to happen.
The only party I would want to start is the Get Shit Done party.
Now that's a party I can subscribe to.
And just you want to feed kids at school, you get that shit done. You want to build housing, get shit done. Just get shit done.
Get shit we have Kit Vim here saying, signing out for the night. Good night, dear one. And we'll see you on Monday, hopefully. There you go.
Good night.
Good night. So Kelowna Mission, the Conservatives take that one rather handily with just under 52%. One ballot left, box left to report. Kootenay Central, a little closer, but still a clear win for Brittany Anderson, the BC NDP, taking 39% of the vote to 32% of the vote for Kelly Vandenberg of the Conservative Party. The Greens picked up just under 19% there, and an independent candidate took 10, Corinne Morey there. So that's a solid four-way race there.
Yeah.
That one. In Kootenay Monashi? Monashee? Monashee.
I would say Monashi.
Monashi. Okay. And
Kind
Kootenay
of just
Monashi.
blend it. Mo and Mon. Just Monashi.
Okay. Yeah. And Kootenay Monashi. Steve Morissette of the BC NDP picked that one up with about 52% of the vote over the Conservative Party candidate. The Green Party candidate picked up 9 there. In Kootenay Rockies, we have a 4-candidate race there with Pete Davis of the Conservative Party taking it rather handily, just under 43%, over an independent candidate, Tom Shipitka, who got 30.5. So I'm guessing he must have been a BC United MLA, right? Okay. And the BC NDP finished third in that one with 21.5%. The Green candidate took 5. And Ladysmith Oceanside. Oh, every now and then you get a district name that just sounds really cool.
Ladysmith is beautiful. Another island area. I mean, Vancouver Island is just full of amazingly beautiful cities.
Wow. That went to BC NDP's way with Stephanie Higginson picking up 41% of the vote to 36 or Brett Fee. And the BC Green Party took 6% there. And there was an independent candidate, Adam Walker, who picked up 16, just close to 16.5%. I'm guessing he too was BC United?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In Langford Highlands, we have Ravi Parmar, the BC NDP, who took that one with 51% rather decisively. The Green candidate got just under 11 there. In Langley Abbotsford, this is a 5-candidate race. In this one, with the Conservative Party, Harman Bangu taking it with just under 56% there. And the 5th candidate there was a Libertarian Party candidate in this one. In Langley Walnut Grove, we have a 4-candidate race here and closer, but I think with enough distance for it to be a clear victory for the Conservative parties. Misty Van Popta with a 49.7% over 44.6% for Megan Dykeman of the BC NDP.
Which she was the existing MLA at the time.
Okay, so she's
lost her seat. That was a loss for the NDP.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is there anything about the Langley that you can tell us?
Well, my brother lives in that riding.
Okay.
He's the conservative of the family.
Okay.
I'm the socialist of the family.
There's always got to be one. Got to keep the
22 months
holidays
apart.
lively.
Completely different people, but that's an area. A lot of it is industrial, semi-industrial, and single-family homes. Not a lot of densification in that area. They're kind of bordered between the number 1 highway and the Fraser River. They're kind of isolated off on their own. And then they get out to Fort Langley, which is just farmland.
Okay. In Langley Willowbrook, we have a 3-candidate race there with the Conservatives with Jody Tour taking that 48.5% to 44.1 from over Andrew Mercier of the BC NDP.
Oh, that's a hard one to take. Andrew
Okay.
Mercier is a phenomenal guy. Has been very silent over the past period. That's his own downfall. Tour is she's advertised herself as a medical doctor. She has a doctorate from another country's random online school in nothing medical. She's a naturopath that has claimed that she's a medical doctor, and there's been numerous people in the ridings asking for that to be called out and checked on by Elections BC, but nothing was done before the election. So
I see this here. Vancouver is awesome. And then, a couple of days here. HEU wants a probe of Jody Tour's alleged use of the doctor title.
well, it's not so much the doctor title, it's the fact that she did claim to be a medical doctor.
Okay.
Because if you have a doctorate in anything,
Yes.
you are allowed to say you are called doctor. But
Right.
calling yourself a medical doctor when is not recognized as a medical doctorate degree in BC should be something that was addressed long before the election happened.
Yeah. Okay. I see that here. Then the NDP. Yeah. Adrian Dix over there. This is in Castlegar News. The NDP launched an attack against the medical credentials of Langley Willowbrook BC Conservative candidate in the last week of the election campaign. Adrian Dix, the NDP's Vancouver Renfrew candidate who served as health minister, was at Langley Memorial Hospital on Tuesday, October 15th to accuse Jody Tour of calling herself a doctor while not having a medical license. She's not an MD, she's not a health professional, she's not a naturopath, said Dix, who was flanked by a group of about a dozen local doctors for the press conference. In BC, titles like doctor or a health practitioner fall in a protected category and only people with certain qualifications, including practicing medical doctors, naturopaths, or dentists, can use those descriptions. Tour's campaign website notes that she is, quote, a non-prescribing and is not registered with the College of Physicians and Surgeons of British Columbia, which is a very fancy way with lots of words of saying, I'm not a medical doctor.
Yeah. But call me Dr. Tour.
Yes. Dr. Reese Shemmer, a hospitalist at Langley Memorial Hospital, also spoke at the press conference alongside Dix and NDP candidate and former Attorney General Nikki Sharma. Quote, I'm deeply concerned about the misrepresentation and deceit by Miss Jody Tour around her certifications. His primary concern was that she become the Minister of Health in a BC Conservative government, he said, saying she should not be in charge of the healthcare budget. Quote, that is terrifying to me. Dick said that the Conservative leader John Rustad was allowing Tour to represent the party in spite of knowing that Tour had, quote, embellished her credentials. On Wednesday, the Hospital Employees Union filed a complaint with the College of Complementary Health Professionals of BC, asking them to investigate Tour's alleged use of the title doctor. Quote, when people in BC seek a doctor's care, they want to know that the person training them has an actual medical doctor degree. That's why we have asked the college to investigate Jody Tour's use of this title, said Lynn Buckert, the HAU's Secretary Business Manager. Tour's campaign website for the BC Conservatives emphasizes her healthcare background, calling her an, quote, advocate for holistic healthcare, who, quote, has been running her own integrative holistic clinic in Langley. The site says she has a, quote, double PhD in Doctor of Integrative Medicine and Doctor of Humanitarian Services with the Board of Integrative Medicine. It does not refer to her elsewhere as a, quote, doctor, however, earlier versions of her campaign site did. The earliest archived version of the website, available from January 7th, when Tour was the candidate for Surrey Cloverdale, refers to her as Dr. Jody Tour or Dr. Tour throughout. Quote, for example, Dr. Jody Tour, IMD, PhD, stands as a dedicated candidate for the Conservative Party of BC in Surrey Cloverdale, bringing a wealth of experience and expertise as a board-certified integrative medicine doctor in both Canada and the United States, the page originally said. Even this early version of the site noted she was, quote, a non-prescribing and was not registered with the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons. Torres also referred to attending, quote, medical school in the United States in more recent interviews. According to the website Conscious Minds Labs, which lists Tour as part of their executive team, Tour's degrees came from Quantum University in Hawaii, an online school. Quantum University is not an accredited medical school, a fact the school makes clear in a lengthy disclaimer on its own website. And it actually includes a link to the lengthy disclaimer. So, yeah, that is quite a lengthy disclaimer.
And not the first time in the area that we've had to go through this with a candidate. When I ran for city council in Surrey in 2018, one of my opponents, who was a naturopath, she kept saying, I'm a doctor, I've got a medical practice. And yet I ran with two other people that have doctorates who refused to use the term doctor because they did not want to mix up anyone thinking that they were a medical doctor when running for political office.
Now, as part of that lengthy disclaimer, it says, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and or PhD degrees in holistic, alternative, natural, and or integrative medicine issued from Quantum University are not, all caps, not, equivalent or comparable to a Doctor of Medicine degree, MD, or Doctor of Naturopathy degree, ND, the site says. Quote, only medical and naturopathic doctor universities with residential education accredited by the Liaison Committee on Medical Education, LCME, or the Council on Naturopathic Medical Education, the CNME, can issue MD or ND degrees. The online school's exams are all multiple choice or true or false and are not timed. The Langley Advanced Time reached out to Tour's campaign and the
I would
BC
love to have
Conservatives.
those exams. I'm getting my doctor from Quantum. Yeah.
Okay, whoever wrote that article has a little bit of bitchiness in them.
No, whoever wrote
I,
that disclaimer knows how to cover their ass.
yeah, as well, but I approve the petty. The online schools exams are all multiple choice or true or false, and are not timed. Just slid that right in there in the before last paragraph of the article.
That's a CYA. Cover your ass.
Oh my god! But,
On.
but that line was not part of the part of the quote. This is the journalist itself that chose that called and asked and chose to add this to the article. The exams
This
not
is
being timed
why
is not part of the
independent
disclaimer.
journalism matters.
Oh my god! The author Matthew Claxton. Yes. Well done, sir. The Langley Advanced Time reached out
Hey,
to
hats tip to
yes.
you, Matthew.
The Langley Advanced Time reached out to Tour's campaign and the BC Conservatives for a response to the NDP's comments, including by phone, email, and social media messaging. If a response is received, the story will be updated. The story has not been updated. That was
Standard conservative practice. We're asked a question. We're going to ignore it till after the election.
and
If
that
we
was
don't say anything, we don't show up, you can't charge us or say that we did anything wrong.
and that was October 16th. So the story has not been updated.
No.
Okay. I, I, I'm sorry. Refer to me as doctor. All my exams were true or false multiple choice and not timed.
There's a reason why
I'm an
someone
ENT.
that has there's a reason why someone who has a doctorate in political analysis, our buddy David Moskrop,
Right.
has a very soft spot for BC politics.
Oh my word. Oh, thank you for I had not heard that one. That was a little gift. Thank you. Oh. Oh my god. Am I a terrible person for writing that so funny?
No.
Oh my god. She's a disaster. I'm so sorry. Oh
Oh,
my god.
okay. So
How
what
did she
happened?
win?
Oh, well, do you know what happened with the one that won in 2018?
Do tell.
Turns out she ended up sleeping with the mayor that she got elected with.
Okay.
That she ran with, and we called out, you're a naturopath. You're not a real doctor. You should not have on your campaign signs, doctor. Oh, yeah. And then they were not necessarily out of their previous relationships when the RCMP got called. You go back to 2018, 2019, you can find in Surrey, BC, the whole results of the mayor and one of his counselors and some domestic issues, and because they weren't married when they got elected. Yeah. We don't have a great history with non-doctor doctors getting elected out here.
I'm
But we've got a
I
great history of some interesting politics.
oh my god, I don't know what to say. I had no idea. Well, hey, it is Eager Beaver Nights. I just oh wow.
Let's
Okay.
get into it here.
Oh, damn. It's hot in here.
It's quarter to 11 out here. It's late out there.
Gee. Oh my. Okay. Uh Thank you. I would have never known this. This is great stuff. Let's keep going down the list. Uh, who else have we got?
I mean, we talked. It was like ages ago that you wanted me on here, and now we're finally the first time.
I'm loving this. I'm gonna need a post-show Siggy after this. Okay, Maple Ridge East. This one's a close one as well. We have Lawrence Mock of the Conservative Party with 47.5% over Bob Deith of the BC
Oh,
NDP.
so that's like three losses for the NDP. Bob Deeth,
Deith.
he's been there a couple times. I mean, he's a former musician. He's been part of the music industry out that way. From what I understand from coworkers, he's just been not someone you can get a hold of if you have a complaint.
Okay.
That could be his downfall. There is not interacting with his constituents.
Mhm. There's a 336 vote difference there, and there the Green Party picked up, I think, over 6%. So there that makes a difference, but with one poll left reporting. So I'm not sure if the poll is big enough to swing in terms of numbers there, but
No, but that's another.
recount maybe.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Maple Ridge Pitt Meadows. We have the BC NDP's Lisa Beer taking the seat with 54.7% over Mike Morden of the Conservative Party.
Bear. Lisa Bear.
Lisa Bear? Okay.
Yeah,
Lisa
not
Bear.
beer.
Okay. Lisa Bear. With and only two candidates in that, and all polls have reported there, so that's a final. In Mid-Island Pacific Rim, we have a three-candidate race. Josie Osborne of the BC NDP takes it with 48.5% over Adam Haydock of the Conservative Party with just under 40, and Ross Reid of the BC Greens took 11.7 there. So a good three-way race in that one, with one ballot box left to report. And Nanaimo Gabriola Island, we have BC NDP's Sheila Malcolmson, 52.22% taking that handily. The Green Party candidate did get over 12% there, however. Nanaimo Lanceville, we have a three-candidate race, and there it is also a handy, easy win, or not easy win, decisive win for the BC NDP's George Anderson with 51.4% over Gwen Mahoney of the Conservatives with just under 40. The Green candidate took just under 9 there. Okay. Nichaco Lakes?
I'd have to look at the spelling, but I want to say Nicola Lakes. But
Nechako. Nichaco? I apologize, everyone in BC.
that's okay. I'm actually not familiar with the writing. That's
Okay.
my bad. Nichiko is where I would kind of go.
It's John Rustad's writing, actually.
And he won that handily easy, and he was the first one to be called this evening. So
67.72%. I need to drink.
I need to grab a new one. He's won that as a BC liberal, an independent, a conservative. He's got a lock on that riding, which is if they feel he's doing the right job. Like, I want to sit here and not slag too many politicians because
I hear
being
ya.
out there running and doing it, and if you've got the people believing in you, that's what you got to do as a politician running. I just wish more of them would do more for all of us all the time.
Yes.
Across all parties.
Yes. Yes. I hear you. New Westminster Coquitlam. It's a three-party race. And there, the BC NDP's Jennifer Whiteside takes it handily with about 59% of the vote. The Greens did pick up 11 there.
She was another cabinet minister, I believe. I'm going to pull a Mr. Grizzly and get my drink and maybe get it right up to the microphone and do a little AMS.
Oh, a pour.
But I'll be
Okay.
right back as you report this.
All right. We have looking at the CBC site, and we still see 46 NDP and 45 for the Conservatives. They're giving us an update on Wanda Fuka Malahat right now. Dana La Jeunesse of the NDP has now taken the lead in their, or I think they did have it by a little bit, 8,934 votes to 8,908. So yeah, that's still the 26-point lead. So not new, no new information coming in from there. With one poll left to report, 23 of 24 polls have reported in that one, with David Evans being the Green candidate and Marina Sapoznikov being the Conservative candidate there. So we'll keep our eyes on that as the evening continues. In North Coast Haida Gwaii, we have two candidates, and Tamara Davidson of the BC NDP won that one with 64% of the vote. In North Island, we have this one is tighter, and Anna Kindi of the Conservative Party has about an 800 vote lead over Michelle Babchuk of the BC NDP with 44.6. There are three uh, ballots boxes left to report, two advanced voting ballots and one final day voting ballot. So I would guess in those three, there would definitely be enough to vote for that to potentially swing. So I will make a note of that so I can follow that one here. In North Vancouver, Lonsdale, we have emergency minister, I think emergency preparedness minister, or emergency management minister, Bowen Ma, um, who we find here on the show has always been doing quite an excellent job whenever they've been called up to the media to, I mean, when you're in emergency management, you're in the media a lot. And it seems that residents of the riding believed so as well, picking up that seat with a 64.6% of the vote in those in that one. Oh, there we go. There's the late night pour. There you go. Cheers.
I had to do that one for Mr. Grizzly.
You will be very happy. I was just looking at a result there, so I'll check your opinion on it here. But North Island is very close between Anna Kindi and Michelle Babchuk. Is Michelle Babchuk an incumbent as well?
The North Island is not one I'm super familiar with. I believe she might be.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, I've just looked it up here. Yes, she's a member of the Legislative Assembly already. Um, so that one's a tight one, but there's still three polls left to report, so it could swing. But right now, the Conservative candidate has about an 800 vote lead.
I mean, the NDP had a huge majority coming into this. And so to see a lot of swing seats or seats swing over to conservatives and make it a tight race was kind of expected after the whole BC United and conservatives
Right.
had their thing. There was polling in the spring that actually showed if BC United and the conservatives polled similarly at the election,
Mm-hmm.
there was a chance the NDP won 84 seats
Okay.
on polling in the spring if it was a split of the vote on the right,
Right.
which didn't happen anymore. And I mean, personally, as a super progressive person, I worked with the NDP. I vote NDP quite often. I did not want to see that happen.
Yeah.
I never want to see a single party have that much power.
Right. I can understand that. Yep.
I like
100%.
the idea of us going back to an NDP minority with a green agreement. Excuse me. That's worked well for BC in the past,
Yep.
and I would love to see that happen again.
Okay. Well, right now
And I
it's looking
really,
like it.
yeah, and I just really wish that Sonia Firstino
Yeah.
had her voice there, because I would say watch her speeches.
She's
She's
good.
amazing.
She's real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been very impressed. In North Vancouver Seymour, we have a 4-candidate race there with the BC NDP's Susie Chant taking that pretty handily with 52% of the vote. In Oak Bay Gordon Head, we have a 3-candidate race there with Diana Gibson of the BC NDP taking it handily as well, 45.5% of the vote. And there the vote split actually went the other way to help the NDP win, because the Conservative Party candidate and the BC Green Party candidate both got over 26%. So 26.8 for the Conservative and 27.6 for the BC Green Party, with
Being up
two
there,
polls.
that was actually one. I think the conservative vote hurt the green vote.
Yeah,
Is that was a riding where the Greens could have actually had a very good chance. Um, so
yeah,
if
I can see
uh,
that. Yeah,
the NDP hurt the green vote, or
yeah, because of I mean, the combined Conservative Green vote is about
52.
yeah, 8 or 9 points higher. So, yeah, with that much of margin, yeah, you're right there. You might have a point there. In Peace River North, we have Jordan Keeley of the Conservative Party handily taking this one with over 74% of the vote. The NDP candidate actually finished third there with just 5%. There was an independent candidate, Dan Davies, I'm guessing also a former BC United there. So that seems to
Uh,
be,
I would assume as well.
yeah,
Your guess is as good as mine when we get up into some of the interiors. I mean, there's 93
yeah,
ridings.
yeah, yes, yeah. Dan Davies,
I
he was the MLA elected in 2017 and re-elected in 2020.
Yeah.
All right, so Dan Davies. So, but this time, does not win. Loses to the Conservative Party candidate. In Peace River South, also Conservative Party candidate Larry Neufeld with nearly 70% of the vote there. There was a candidate that took 24% of the vote. It's a candidate named Mike Bernier that has no party affiliation as well, it seems. There's nothing in the box.
No, and it's funny. I want to say that sounds familiar, but then I'm probably thinking Bernier as a federal level of you're not going to pull very well no matter what.
It says Mike Bernier is official opposition co-critic for transportation and infrastructure.
So he might have been a PC liberal slash United.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
but
but
he
I would
was
say
an incumbent and he didn't win.
no. Just whenever I hear Bernier, I think PPC, and you're
Uh,
not going to get many votes,
yes, we have a
which
Penticton.
may have actually happened. Who
You never
knows?
know. You never know. We have Penticton Summerland, and there we have a 6-candidate race. Actually, the first one of these I see tonight.
Well,
With
it's like the wines there. There's a winery for every candidate.
there you go. So we have Amelia Boltby of the Conservative Party taking that with for just under 42% of the vote over Tina Lee of the BC NDP. We've got just under 40 there. There's a candidate named Tracy St. Clair. Again, no affiliation that we can tell. That picked up 9% in that. In Port Coquitlam, we have a 4-candidate race with the BC NDP's Mike Farnworth. That name rings a bell to me.
He is our minister of public safety.
Okay.
So he's the one. He's been in a lot of news out here dealing with. Uh, since I ran and lost to the party that came in Surrey and wanted to switch from the RCMP to a Surrey police
Oh,
force,
yes.
and all of the fun that we've had over another municipal election and the NDP trying to say, get your shit together, as well as we're going to put a law down on this. And it's been a lot of fun dealing with that.
So where does that stand now? Like, how did because there was a
Uh,
vote on that, right?
well, not really a vote. There was, so in 2018 when I ran, I actually was with a group that ran on a platform of replacing the RCMP. We just said it's going to take 8 years. We're going to need to develop our own polytechnic program as opposed to relying on the justice. And it's going to cost probably 40 to 60% more than what we're currently paying. And Doug McCallum, who won, said, we can get out of an RCMP contract in 2 years, which legally any city can. And it's only going to cost us 10% more, which is what the city pays versus what Ottawa pays for RCMP.
Right.
So that's what started the ball going is everyone said, hey, 2 years and 10%, that's nothing.
Right.
That's not how long it takes to develop and exchange a new thing. So we got into the next civic election. One of his former candidates had left his group. She said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to go back to the RCMP, despite running on a platform to get rid of the RCMP originally.
Okay.
And then it became a huge little split. That was our last one that I think for myself, I had 3 or 4 of the 6 slates ask me to run with them. And at the time, I was just focused on family. I couldn't
Yeah.
spend 4 months running for office and not being at home while working full time.
But it's nice
Uh,
to be wanted.
it it really felt good. I mean, Jenny Sims, who's one of the incumbents that you'll come up with soon, she was running, but it was people of different political stripes
Right.
that all wanted me to run with them because I'm like, it's a civic level. I don't care about your politics. Let's get
Right.
shit done.
Right. Right.
And so that's where the interest came. But so then it became we're going to get rid of the RCM, or we're going to keep the RCMP and get rid of this, but so much had already been spent on this side, and the province just went, look, you guys have already gone so far down this road.
Of switching to Surrey Police.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll give you some money to just keep going because that's going to cost less to do it.
Right.
And the new mayor said, no, I want to fight against you. And it was back and forth, and the whole city was divided on this. And then it became the NDP's against doing this for the city, and which has probably hurt them a lot in some of the ridings
Gotcha.
on this election. And I think we're 6 months away from the Surrey Police Department being the police of the district, or the official police of the area
Okay.
that is still going through.
Okay.
So all the money
Yeesh.
that's been fighting it back and forth has been for naught.
Gotcha.
And this is now 6 years that all of this has been going on. And millions of dollars at the civic level and the provincial level, and
Yeah.
it sucks to be the guy going, I said it was going to cost this, except more efficiently.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I hear you. Port Moody, Burquitlam. This one's a 3-candidate race with Rick Glumek
Oh,
of
Burke
the.
Whitlam.
Yeah. Pardon?
Well, Burquitlam.
Yes, Burquitlam.
So that's Burnaby, Coquitlam, Port Moody ish.
Yes.
All those cities, little corners of each that intersect,
Okay.
that is now become Burquitlam.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. So Rick Glumek of the BC NDP has picked up just under 52% of the vote there. The Conservatives for just over 40, the Green candidate just over 7. Powell River Sunshine Coast, we have 4 candidates there with the BC NDP's Randine Neal taking that with 49.4% of the vote. And that's a pretty decisive win there. The Greens picked up 13.5 there. The Conservative candidate just under 36. In Prince George Mackenzie, we have Keel Giddens of the Conservative Party who picked up over 60% of the vote there. So that's a pretty solid win there.
I almost feel like I want like a BC map behind me. I'm like, Prince George, well, we're up here.
Ah,
Meanwhile,
that would be handy.
Powell River is down here on the coast, up north part of the coast where Vancouver Island is here. And
Ah, we,
I need a
we
green screen behind me so I can just be like, okay, this area, so you can see, here's all of BC.
ah, yeah, you might have a few, and then if you do the weather at the same time.
I mean, the closest thing I got is
there's a groovy color.
it's the praying mantis costume that my son's gonna wear for Halloween.
Praying
Just
mantis.
get that up behind me. We can start dubbing things in, and
I love it. Ah, so, sorry, Panorama's kind of disappeared. It's where where the knee would have been.
uh,
um, in Prince George Mackenzie, we have 4 candidates in this one, and yeah, like I said, Keel Giddens, 61% of the vote, pretty handy. Prince George North Caribou, we have 4 candidates there. Sheldon Clare of the Conservative Party takes it with over 57% of the vote. There's an independent candidate, Coralie Oakes, that brought in just under 22% there. And Prince George
Vilmont.
Valemont. We have the Conservative Party's Rosalind Bird taking 55% of the vote there. The Greens took just under 10. And Richmond Bridgeport, 5 candidates in this one, with the Conservative Party's Teresa Watt taking 58% in this one.
And she was the incumbent there.
She's the incumbent there?
Yeah.
Okay. In Richmond Center, we have 5 candidates as well, with Han Chan of the Conservative Party taking 52% in that one. In Richmond Queensborough, we have Steve Cooner of the Conservative Party taking that one with 51% over 43 or just under 44% for Aman Singh of the BC NDP. In Richmond Steveston, or
Steveston.
Steveston. Emphasis
Beautiful
on the
little
wrong syllable.
town. Beautiful little town. Used for a lot of filming. It's a
Okay.
little fishing area. If you get out here, just walking along the waterfront, you can literally go down to boats and buy fresh seafood that they caught that morning from the
Oh,
boats.
nice.
And we're talking BC spot prawns, halibut, crab,
Mm,
salmon, just uh, even clams and oysters off the boats.
dang, that sounds like great. I'm a big seafood fan, so that would be up my alley.
Yeah.
We have Kelly Green of the BC NDP taking that one 44.18% to 42.27 over Michel Molyneux of the Conservative Party. So I think that might be enough. There's one poll left to report, but that might be enough of a spread there. In Saanich North and the Islands, 4-candidate race there, and this one was quite a race. The BC Green Party's Rob Bottrell is in the lead there, 36% over 32% for Sarah Riddell of the NDP, over 30% for Dave Bush of the Conservative Party. So that's literally a three-way race. All three candidates got between 30 and 37%.
Yeah, and I mean, Saanich is just north of the Victoria riding.
Okay.
So that's like the suburbs of the provincial capital.
Okay. Gotcha. In Saanich South, we have Lana Popham of the BC NDP taking 49% of the vote there for her win. And Adam Kubel of the Conservatives got 30, just under 33. And Ned Taylor of the BC Greens took just under 18. So that's a good competitive race there. And Salmon
And
Arm,
if it wasn't obvious, that is just south of what is just north of the provincial capital.
right, paid attention. In Salmon Arm Shuswap, we have 5 candidates there, 2 independents in this race. But it was won by David L. Williams of the Conservative Party with 52%. The independents between them took over 10% of the vote there. In Skeena, we have a 4-party race with the 4th party of this one being the Christian Heritage Party of BC, who took 1% of the vote in this one. But the Conservative Party's Claire Rachete won this one with 51.5% over Sarah Zimmerman of the BC NDP with 44. In Surrey, now this is the part of the province I've been looking forward to hearing about.
Oh.
In Surrey City Centre, a 5-candidate race in this one. Amna Shah of the BC NDP has the lead over Zijan Wala of the Conservative Party with 2 polls left to report. And that's not a big lead at all. It is 26 plus 15, 41 vote lead at this time. So that one could, with 2 polls left, that one could definitely move.
Yeah, that's I mean, city central Surrey kind of thing is where City Hall sits, where the Board of Trade, all that, and also a lot of the poorest areas of the city are all tied into there. So a lot of new development and poor people are in that area. So you have renters, and I'm sure it's actually a lower turnout than actual people that live there. Just because of, I mean, who's there? It's no one's supporting them. It's either
Okay.
business or schools.
Right. Right now we have John Rustad who's addressing people right now. So, and it's still 46, 45, and 2. But we do have enough close races at the moment that still need to be monitored that we can't specifically say that that's how it's going to end for the night. Let's
I
see
was
what
really
else.
hoping that you were going to say that he was out here saying that climate change was real.
I don't want to lie.
Well, if he
I
was
don't
going to
want to
admit
lie.
something, if he was going to admit something, it was either going to be a loss or that, and either one would be good for me. But
In Surrey Cloverdale, we have Eleanor Sturko of the Conservative Party that has a 48.6% around vote share over Mike Starchuk of the BC NDP with 45.32. That's close. It's about
ooh,
just under 700 votes, but there's only one poll left to report, so that might be a too big a margin there.
that one's a very interesting poll actually because uh, Mike Starchuk left city politics. I ran against him in 2018.
Okay.
And then he, after serving that last term, ran for the NDP. He's a former firefighter. He's been involved in a lot of unions, everything for his entire life. Eleanor Sturco was my representative that she won the Surrey South in the by-election, I guess, 2 years ago, and then left the BC United Party before it folded and
Okay.
joined, so that the racist guy that apparently hit. This is me censoring my.
Yes.
I know it's after dark. I'm still just not going to
It
use
sounds like it
all the
had 4
words.
syllables.
Yes, as Kamala said, it
Yes.
starts with an M
M
and
and
ends
ends.
with an Um,
Ends in
there's a phenomenal actor that uses it in every movie. Um,
Yes. Yes.
she jumped ship to let him run in her riding that she had already run.
Okay.
And I was really hoping she lost because it really showed some of the misogyny of the BC Conservatives.
Gotcha.
You had actually a former RCMP lesbian woman who had won this seat to give it up to the racist old white guy whose wife had the federal seat and she had to go to another seat.
Ugh.
And that in itself is beyond getting a candidate I wanted. I wanted them both to lose on that premise
Right. Right.
because that's just a bullshit way of doing politics.
Right. Yeah.
They both won, so apparently that worked for people. But that's really upsetting for me that they both did. Is that
Yeah.
was just a shit way of doing politics and making the different candidates move around.
Yep. I can see that. In Surrey Fleetwood, we have the BC NDP's Jagrup Brar winning at 48 to 45%.
I will
All
correct
polls
you
are
there.
reported there. Okay.
Jagrup Brar.
Jagrup Rup
Jagrup.
Jagrup Jagrup Brar.
Much like with our um, federal NDP leader.
Okay. So it would be Jagrup.
Yeah.
Okay, Jagrup Brar. So yeah, close, but all polls are reported, so that's a confirmed win there for the BC NDP. In Surrey, Guildford also confirmed in this one. It's that this one was close, but this one might go to a recount. Hanover Singh Randawa of the Conservative Party got 47% of the vote, and Gary Begg of the NDP got 46.6% of the vote. So the difference is 102 votes in this one.
That'll probably go to a recount. It's also drop the D. It's just Guildford.
Okay,
There's no.
Guildford.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. In Surrey Newton, we have 5 people here, and this is a BC NDP win for Jesse Sunner with 50, just under 51% of the vote over. I'm going to say Tegjut Bal.
Take it well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Conservative Party, who got 43.3% there.
That one was actually kind of a toss up. Neither one was incumbent there.
Okay.
The incumbent had stepped down, and so it's a good win for the NDP to keep that seat.
All right. In Surrey North, we have 5 candidates, and we have Mandeep Dhaliwal of the Conservative Party taking this one 51.18% over Rancha Singh of the BC NDP, or Rachna Singh?
No, just Rachna Singh.
Rachna Singh of the BC NDP, who got 42.83% of the vote. There was a Freedom Party of BC candidate there who picked up 1% of the vote in this one. In Surrey Panorama, there was another Freedom Party of BC candidate in this one who picked up 2% of the vote, but only 3 candidates in the race. And this one, a bit of a surprise, I think, even though it was really close. Brian Tepper of the Conservative Party defeated Jenny Sims of the BC NDP.
Oh, shit.
39.8 to 47.8.
Shit. I mean, living in Surrey, this is a lot of change,
Yeah.
and I'm not happy. But
Wow. Jenny
uh,
Sims.
Jenny Sims, I think that what
That
hurt
surprises
her,
me.
she because she stepped back and ran for the mayor of
Okay.
Surrey recently, I think that hurt her provincially.
Okay.
That she was doing her provincial job, went, no, I'm going to run the city of Surrey, where she was the representative at the time, didn't, and came back. I think jumping back and forth hurts politicians. Like,
Okay.
your voters go, well, what do you want to represent?
Right. Because I remember from when she was a federal MP,
Yeah,
member of
so
parliament for Newton North Delta. Oh,
no, she's been a
yeah.
phenomenal representative, but I think jumping around too much too fast is
Yeah.
probably hurt her.
Okay. In Surrey Serpentine River, we have Linda Hepner of the Conservative Party, who took that 149, just under 50% over Baltej Singh Dillon of the BC NDP, who had 47%. So just over 500 vote win with all polls reporting there.
And Linda Hebner, I'm starting, as we hit my city that I've been born and raised in, I'm getting sad.
Yeah.
uh, she was temporary mayor after Diane Watts. So Diane Watts stepped down to run for, I can't remember if it was provincial or federal, but she stepped away. Linda Hebner became mayor, and then she was mayor when I ran for city council. She lost everything there. She's done nothing since. She just stepped in when the Conservative Party came out. She is a wealthy person that decided I needed to get back in and get my name out there again.
Right.
And yeah, there's a lot of changes in Surrey that are hitting hard, and
Yeah. There's Surrey seems to have gone very heavily conservative. There are some NDP wins in there, but yeah.
well, Surrey has. I mean, we are only a couple years away from overtaking Vancouver as the most populous city in BC.
Right.
So the ridings in Surrey matter actually more than Vancouver now,
Yeah.
and have for a number of years, because of the growth and the fact that our geographical area covers all of Delta, Vancouver, and Burnaby.
Yeah.
So almost the largest population wise, and larger than 3 other large cities in the area. We got 5 years and then we're not going to be known as Metro Vancouver anymore
Right.
because it has to be known by the largest
Right.
population. Metro Surrey's coming up, and anyone that grew up out here knows that there's a lot of jokes about Surrey, all the horrible
Yep.
ones you can.
Yep.
Yeah, you're all from Surrey now.
Yep. Oh man, Surrey South, of course, which is your electoral district, and it's been now been confirmed. Brent Chapman took that with 59% of the vote. Surrey White Rock, I know. I'm sorry, my friend. Surrey White Rock, candidate race. Conservative Party's Trevor Halford took that over Darrell Walker, 52.5% to 45%.
So
And
Daryl Walker was the former White Rock mayor. Trevor Halford was the incumbent with the BC Liberal United, whatever. He's another, like I said, he's a good guy.
okay, good.
Uh,
Right.
they just jumped parties because he saw how he could stay in power and have his voice heard.
Okay. Vancouver Fraserview, we have George Chow of the BC NDP taking that with about 57%. Decisive victory there. Vancouver Hastings, Nikki Sharma of the BC NDP took that with 64%. The Green candidate got just under 11 there. Vancouver Kensington, BC NDP's Mabel Elmore took that with 60% of the vote. Vancouver Langara was closer. Sunita Deer of the BC NDP took it 48 to 46 over Brian Brigette.
That's Langara, not Langara.
Um,
For the pronunciation of the riding.
oh, sorry. Yes.
Langara.
Langara. Okay.
Yeah.
Brian Brigette. So that's a NDP win for Sunita Deer there. In Vancouver Little Mountain, BC NDP takes this one with just under 62% of the vote for Christine Boyle. Vancouver Point Grey, this is David Eby's riding. He won it with a 56.75% of the vote there.
So before David Eby, Christine Boyle was a Vancouver city councillor, and she was actually running against another one for the nomination. There's
Oh,
two
okay.
very progressive women that ran against each other for the nomination, and Christine Boyle won. And so I'm very happy that she won. She has been fighting for better housing policies in Vancouver, which is some of the worst NIMBYism in Vancouver or
Right.
in the country. So I'm very happy that she won, and that's a big win for housing in Vancouver, and
That's
hopefully for renters and everything that can go along with it.
good. Okay, I'm probably going to massacre this one too. Vancouver Quilchena?
Kilchena?
Kilchena?
Kilchena.
Okay. Vancouver Kilchena. Dallas Brody of the Conservative Party took that one, just under 52% there. In Vancouver Renfrew, that's Adrian Dix, who's being returned there with 63%. In Vancouver South Granville, BC NDP's Brenda Bailey takes that one, also 64%. Vancouver Strathcona, where we have four candidates, with the fourth candidate being from the Communist Party of BC. But here, Joan Phillip of the BC NDP takes it with nearly 69% of the vote, with the Greens
Nice.
taking a 12% there. You like Joan Phillip?
No, just the percentage.
Yes, the percentage is very, very solid. In Vancouver's West End, Spencer Chandra Herbert takes this one with just under 63% of the vote, and the Green candidate there got just under 9. Vancouver Yale Town, that was closer. Terry Young of the BC NDP does take it, though. 49% of the vote, to just under 44 for Melissa De Genova from the Conservative Party. And
Who was also a former Vancouver city councillor. She ran on being the first millennial elected. And as another millennial, the fact that she chose to run that way and just against what helps other people, I shake my head.
Yeah. In Vernon Lumby, we have a four-candidate race there with the BC NDP's Harwinder Sandhu winning it over Dennis Geisbrecht of the Conservative Party. It was close, 42.5 to 41.8, but all the polls have reported, and it's just under 400, between a 300 and 400 point difference. So I'm not sure if that one might go to some count or not.
They'll probably call it for a recount, just
to be sure.
Yeah.
In Victoria Beacon Hill, that was Sonia Furstenau's district. She lost to Grace Laura of the BC NDP, 47% to 33.5% there. In Victoria Swan Lake, we have from the BC NDP, Nina Krieger winning that one at just under 56%, with the BC Greens picking up 23% there. In West Kelowna, Peachland, it's a three-candidate race, with the Conservatives' Macklin McCall taking that one with 51% of the votes, so rather handily. In West Vancouver, Capilano, we have Lynn Block of the Conservative Party that took that with just under 47%, and with the NDP, Sarah Eftekar taking 27%, just under, and Karen Kirkpatrick was an independent, taking just under 21% in that one. And finally, West Vancouver, Sea to Sky, probably the second best writing name in the province. We have the BC Green Party with Jeremy Valeriot taking that one with 38.15% to 35.6% for the Conservative Party's Yuri Fulmer and 26.2% for Jen Ford of the BC NDP. And that's with one poll left to report in that one.
I feel like we missed one of the ridings somewhere.
Okay.
In the North Van area. I'm blanking on her name. Of course, it's. I feel like there was another NDP one that we missed.
Okay.
And because I'm using my phone, I can't Google it.
Do you have anything, if I Googled, that I would be able to find the name with?
I'm just trying to sit here and adjust.
All right. I'll allow you to do that. So if I go back now, looking at total percent of vote share here, we have 8.27% for the BC Greens at present, 44.55% for the BC NDP, and 43.53% for the Conservative Party. So it's only about a 1% gap in the share, in popular vote share there. So it's way closer than a lot of people thought. 98.7% of ballot boxes have reported so far. Preliminary voter turnout was 57.141%, with over 2 million total valid votes cast out of 3.5 million registered voters as of October 7th, 2024.
Okay, I got it. Bowen Ma.
Oh, yes, Bowen Ma won.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, very handily. That's when you got up, I believe.
There we
I
go.
might have mentioned that one.
Yeah, I missed it. That's why I was like, we missed one.
In one that we were watching, one the Fuka Malahat. Dana Lajeunesse of the BC NDP is confirmed to have won it, but it is only a 25 vote lead. But that's what all polls reporting now. So that one will definitely be going to recount here.
Get to the island. There's a lower population, so they get very tight very fast.
Yeah. Other ones that we were watching because they were close was Kelowna Centre. Everything's reported there. And there it looks like the Conservative Party picked it up with Christina Lowen over Loyal Wooldridge. But by not very much, 147 votes on that one. So that one,
Recounts.
yes. Maple Ridge East, all polls are now reporting Lawrence Mock of the BC Conservative Party over Bob Deeth of the NDP. And this one is 324 votes. So that one's a bit of a broader margin. North Island, everyone has reported, and this is Michelle Babchuk of the BC NDP, finishing second to Anna Kindi of the Conservative Party. On this one, a bit of a larger margin here, 681 votes. So that one might be a little too broad to be contested in any way.
You did call that one as Northern Ireland, not Island.
Oh, sorry, North Island. I'm sorry.
I was like, hey, we have votes in Northern Ireland? Oh, my partner's whole family's from back there. Let's get into that.
Woohoo. Skeena, I don't know why I had that one.
Skeena
That
Valley,
one
or
wasn't close. Claire Ratte won that one fairly handily. And so, yeah, the only ones, let's see, Surrey City Centre still has 2 left to report, as the BC NDP's Amna Shah is leading over Sijan Wala by 26 plus 15, so 41 votes there, with 2 polls left to report. Surrey Cloverdale has now all reported, and that is Eleanor Sturko of the Conservative Party having a victory over Mike Starchuk of the BC NDP here, and this one's between 600 and 700 votes, so that might be big enough to have that confirmed. And
I talked to some of the NDP people a few days ago and said he's just been too quiet on the past 4 years.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt him.
And then the last one we were still following because it was close enough was Surrey Guildford, and there was a Hanveer Singh Randhawa. I think I said Hanover the first time rather than Hanveer, so I'm so sorry. I think I got his name wrong. Hanveer Singh Randhawa.
No, Randawa.
Randhawa. Okay, sorry. The D goes as the first syllable, the first letter of the second syllable. Okay, Hanveer Singh Randhawa. Thank you. Now I know. Once you know better, you do better. And
all we can do is do better.
Exactly. And that one is a 102 vote margin. So that one must be going as well.
That'll be a recount.
All right. So
multiple recounts and a 2-seat finish
5, 6,
without the recounts.
Yeah. So I'm seeing 6 probably potential recounts here. Maybe a little more if they go a little broader. And with everything written as right now at 46, 45, and 2. So I'm guessing that's where things stand for now.
We're in for some more storms in BC.
I think we are.
Not just rainfall.
I think
but
we are.
A little bit of political stuff, yeah.
Yes. All right. My good friend, I think I'm going to call it a night because it's 2:40 in the morning where I am.
I was going to say good morning, sir.
Thank you so much. But before we go, so far it does look like an NDP minority government if they are able to strike all minority government and potential majority if they're able to strike agreeing with the deals, strike a deal with the Greens.
Well, they would have a plurality.
Yeah.
So they may, if recounts go their way, they could have a majority. Meanwhile, they have a minority with an agreement with the Greens.
Yeah. Because the Greens, because it's 46-45, the Greens have their choice of dance partner here.
With their 2
both
seats,
can make an offer.
Yeah. The
So
Greens are now the most powerful party in BC, which
yes,
I love to see.
yes. Gee, again, it's nice to be wanted. Look at who's the most popular person at the prom all of a sudden. I love it. I love it. So there might be some changes, of course, with because there's a couple of those ridings here that still have a couple of ballots left to go. So some things might switch. Might wake up tomorrow morning and find out things are different. But
It could happen.
well, let's put it this way: last two by-elections that we've had federally, I've gone to bed like this indicating a liberal lead, and then woke up and it's like, what? The conservative one? So I am definitely not going to bed confident.
I never go to bed confident on any election.
Especially with one with just like a 26 or 25 vote thing. So that one can switch.
No.
But then they'll have recounts and other things too. So it might take a couple of days to get official confirmed results.
Well,
But
maybe we need to regroup and chat again.
I think that would be a most excellent idea, sir.
I would love to. I thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Wow, you added so much because so many stories and details and who's an incumbent and who's not from over here. I didn't know that, so I don't think I could have had a better guest to be able to offer some insight on what actually was going on the ground and where things were coming from. So thank you,
Thank you. And love to be here for all the kids and cubs.
thank you. And it's
Wish I
finally
could have said hi to Mr. B or Mr. Grizz.
yes, he, he had some evening activities. He dinner and a concert, so I can't wait to hear about that. But he hasn't.
Dinner you had
But
a
he hasn't been sleeping well
concert
this week.
last night.
I did. Cyndi Lauper, thank you very much, with Rev as the opening act, and it wasn't announced who the opening act was going to be. And I am a huge Rev fan, a huge Cyndi Lauper fan. I'm an unconditional. Since I was like, we have an expression in French, depuis que j'avais trois pommes, since I was like
Oh.
three apples high, 3 apples tall. I just like loved Cyndi Lauper right from the get. It's the first state arena concert I ever went to see. That's the first one I ever like bugged my mom. I want to go see Cyndi Lauper. I want to go until like she finally relented and bought tickets, so we went together. Um, and so she's my favorite, and of course, True Color. You know, if you're part of the rainbow community, True Colors is an anthem for us, right? And
I
she's an
mean,
incredible
all
ally of the community, and
that song is just amazing for all of us.
yeah, it's brilliant. So it was a fantastic show. And
Look at those eyes. Those eyes on the fantastic.
it was
Fantastic.
yes. Buy tickets now. So and it's her actually her first stadium tour since she had her first tour for the She's So Unusual album. She's always done smaller, more intimate venues, but she said like she wanted to go out with a bang. She's 71. She's 71. And she's running up and down the stage from side to side and belting these songs and holding these notes for like long periods of time, playing instruments, singing,
Can
costume.
we use this as a political thing? 71-year-old woman can do this? What
She's
does a 78-year-old man do? He hobbles along and
I'm telling you, man, she looks great. She's got energy. She's her voice is she can still hit the notes. She can still hold the notes for as long as she can because she can hold a note for quite a long time. She
I don't think she's coming out here, or at
she's
least
a
not on days where I'm
yeah.
able to get to a concert.
She is a beast on stage and always a very, very good show. because she always takes a couple of moments now and then during the show to talk to people about either what's going on or how certain songs came to be and that type of stuff. So you don't get and she's hilarious. So you don't get just a concert, you get a bit of a stand-up comedy show along with it. So
No,
it's just a great night. It's just a great night.
I
It's all
mean,
love in the room.
I'm a little bit younger than you. I remember watching the video of Girls Just Want to Have Fun and seeing, hey, that's my favorite wrestler.
Oh,
This
yes.
is, and all of that going on and going, this chick fucking rocks.
Oh, yeah. She
And
was,
watching Nuts Music and being like, yeah, you
yes.
do.
Yes, you do. No, she's great. And she's, she disappeared from radio for the longest time because, when you do pop and because she
Oh, yeah.
started late, right? A lot of the pop artists like to break out in their teens or early 20s, but she became famous in her 30s. So when they turn around and says, well, you've already passed your best before date, so a lot of people wouldn't play her. But over the course of her career, she's done a standards album. If you've ever heard the album, she's got an album called At Last. They're
Oh,
all standards. If you didn't
trust
know,
me,
if
we
you
have
wondered,
listened
yes.
to.
But that's like if you wondered if she really could sing, if she was just all only that squeaky stuff, you listen to that album, she can sing.
My house, we sit here and we go, what was one of your favorite artists growing up? We are going to sit here and listen to all of it. You want to go? I mean, we had Meatloaf with Meatloaf. We've gone we've gone through all of Rod Stewart. We've gone through Brian Adams. We've gone the amount of tragically hip and
Oh,
blue rodeo that continuously flows through this house
yes. Yes.
is just. And then our son, who's now 8, he's like, I want to hear Willie Nelson or I want to hear BB Rexa.
Yes.
And we're like, well,
That's a span. Well, in one way that's a span, but have you ever heard BB Rexha's song Seasons with Dolly Parton?
yeah. Oh,
Why has BB Rexa not been singing country all her life? Seriously. I mean, everything the dance stuff she does is great. The rock stuff she does is great. But before she did that, but oh my God, she's great at country.
he brings stuff into this and he's like, I want to hear this. We have a rule. All you say is, okay, Google, play this. And we're going to listen to it.
That's the best way to do it. Okay, okay, Google is
Literally,
answering you.
okay, Google, pause. It literally just started going, oh, here's your playlist.
Yep.
And you come into my house, you'll find the most eclectic food and music.
I do hope to have the opportunity one day, my friend.
You are always welcome here when you come out. And I really wish when we were out in Kingston that I had just got a picture of my son on the phone. We set a timer thing, switches over. Him in Kingston at the trains. He's sitting there from when we were back there, but just the timing didn't work to catch you on
Yeah,
your play.
that's okay. That's okay. There'll be other times, my friend. There'll be other times.
Bring your sweetie out on the coast. I'll cook dinner.
Okay. That sounds cool. Adam, thank you so much for all your help, and I appreciate you so very much.
Oh, the past 3 hours have been awesome.
All right. Kids and Cubs. That's the end of this episode of True North Eager Beaver Nights BC election results special. Gotta get a little comfy here. There we go. Nights. There we go. And we hope that you enjoyed listening to us because we loved making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So please tell your peeps and poops all about us. We really love it when you do. Now, if you'd like to be sure that you do not miss an episode, you do not have to, thanks to the Ray Girl, who sponsored our pod page. So if you scan the QR code that is under this time our guest's chin and not mine, that will bring you right there. podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters, with a hyphen between all of those words. And when you go there and click subscribe, when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, it comes directly to you. You don't even have to go hunting for it. It just comes to you. All you have to do is open it and press click, play. And there you go. We're in your ears. Now, if you would like to support us in other ways, you can do that by surfing yourself on down to the True North Eager Beaver media page on our YouTube feed. Make like Kit Elaine and go there. And when you get there, click on our buttons. Like, share, and subscribe. We have 3 buttons for you, so go crazy. Have a lot of fun. It helps us out a lot. Now, if you would like to support us in other ways, because, for example, you like our product and you want to encourage us to do more, well, if you look right over there, boom, 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 that's the QR code that will bring you to our coffee page, where you will find the Beaver Lodge's Emergency Hydration Fund. That's where you can buy your favorite beaver a cup of hot chocolate so that he can maintain his levels. The brown doesn't just happen. I am 37% chocolate. So I need to keep up my levels. So send me a hot chocolate, or, Mr. Grivers is not here today, but he likes his coffee. So send him a cup of coffee.
Or
Scan that QR
Guinness.
code. Or a Guinness. Scan that QR code. It'll bring you right there. Coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And if you go there and leave us a little something, you earn our undying gratitude, and your sex appeal goes up 37.2%. We've tested it in the lab.
It's happened.
Let's put it this way. If this is what happens after a 37.2% increase, I better listen twice a day. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I donated. I listen.
Look at
Hey.
look at that. Again. Woo! It's hot in here. It's hot in here. Woo! We love beautiful people inside and out. All right. I think that's all that kind of stuff, because democracy is something that you do. We still have 2 provincial elections coming up in New Brunswick on the 21st and in Saskatchewan on the 28th. Remember, kids do democracy alone. So go to the polls, bring someone with you, talk to people around you about going to vote, how excited you are to do it. That's the best way to get people there. Oh, look at that. We even have mime. You get everything on it. Whoa, come back. You pulled too hard. I love I'm sorry, kids who are listening on the podcast version, but this doesn't translate really. My funny bone is being tickled. So do make sure that you get out to vote there. Adam, please, I actually didn't start by asking how your mental health is doing today. So if you would like to say that and offer some words of wisdom before we go, I would very much appreciate that.
My mental health is doing well.
Excellent.
Because I always talk to my friends about how I'm doing.
Mhm.
And they know that if I'm upset, that's all I need to say. But if you are not feeling well, reach out to myself, to Mr. Beaver, to Mr. Grizzly. We are always here to support you. And for those of you that may not be happy with the result in an election that just happened, get out and vote. Bring a friend.
Mhm. There'll be another one.
Because democracy is something you do.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. You know what? I don't have to do anything else there. I think I'm just going to, well, you want me to cue the cock or do you want to say cue the cock?
Well, just remember, the sexiest thing you can do is vote. Now cue the cock.
Oh, I love it. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music. And as you know, kids and cubs, I love my dad jokes. So, son goes up to his dad, says, "Dad, can I eat the ice cream in the freezer?" Dad goes, "Well, sure, but might be a little cold in there." I love it. All right, kids and cubs. That's it. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.